Good morning. Hope y'all have been doing good, man. Today we'll be reading Genesis 17 through 19. We'll just go ahead and get to it. If there's something y'all confused about or that y'all see that I'm confused about, help me out in the comments, or I can help y'all in the comments. This is a community thing. I want to get everybody going and just be one with God. You know what I mean? So let's get to it, man. God renews his covenant. When Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and I will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name be Abraham, for father of many nations have I made thee. And I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee, and their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee, and to thy seed after thee. So as we can see, God has made Abraham a father of many nations. Abraham has been disciplined. He's been, listening to God, which is also why he got his name changed, And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. And God said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised, and ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant between me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations. He that is born in the house or brought with money, or any stranger which is not of thy seed, he that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with thy money, must needs be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised man-child, whose flesh of the foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant. Right? So the covenant between God and Abraham is basically saying, listen, every single male in the family and every generation after that must be circumcised. Right? I don't know why that specific thing was made sure, but God says something you don't need to ask for no explanation. Right? You get up and do it. And I believe that's what Abraham did. And God said unto Abraham, As for Sarai, thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she will be a mother of nations, kings of people shall be of her. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed and said in his heart, Shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? So Abraham's confused. He's like, man, I'm too old to have a kid. And Abraham said unto God, O that Ishmael might live before thee. And God said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful. And I will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at the set time in the next year. And he left off talking with him, and God went up from Abraham. And he left off talking with him, and God went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in this house, and all that were bought with his money, every male among men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the selfsame day, as God had said unto him. And Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael his son was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. The selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael his son. And all the men of his house, born in the house, bought with money of the stranger, were circumcised with him. So everybody, they're not playing it. He said, God said do it, so I'm going to do it to the full extent. Everybody must be circumcised. Right? And the Lord appeared unto him in the plants of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. When he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door, and bowed himself toward the ground, and said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, Pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts, and after that ye shall pass on. For therefore are ye come to your servant. And they said, Do so as thou hast said. And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth. And Abraham ran unto the herd, and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it unto a young man, and he hath it to dress it. And he took butter and milk and calf, which he had dressed, and set it before them, and he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. But he's had that butter and milk, boy. I'm getting a little hungry. Sarah promised a son. They said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and were stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of woman. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord, being old also. And the Lord said unto Abraham, Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I have a severity bear a child which I am old? Which they just going back to saying, listen, I'm kind of too old to have a kid, right? And the Lord said unto Abraham, Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Is anything too hard for the Lord? Try to tell you, he asking y'all a question. Is it? Do y'all think it is? At the time appointed, I will return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Then Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but thou didst thou. Then Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but thou didst laugh. And the men rose up from thence and looked toward Sodom. And Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And the Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of earth shall be blessed in him. For I now know that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him. And the Lord said, Because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come from unto me. And if not, I will know. And the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom, but Abraham stood yet before the Lord. And Abraham drew near and said, Wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? So the Lord is just saying, he's talking about Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And he's just saying, just because it's so wicked there, right? And the cries are so loud, right? It's probably just painful for him to bear, right? He's going to go check and see, it says, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to cry of it, which has come unto me, and if not, I will know, right? So I think he's going to he has to go down there and visualize and see, okay, what's going on here, right? And if it's too crazy, it has to be destroyed, right? I'm not about to let this continue the wickedness and all this stuff going on here, right? And Abraham is asking, like, if it's good people there, are you still going to destroy it? Peradventure, there be 50 righteous within the city, wilt thou also destroy, not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein? That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked. That be far from thee. Shall not judge all of the earth to do right? And the Lord said, If I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all their place for their sakes. And Abraham answered and said, Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord, which am but dust and ashes. Peradventure, there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous, wilt thou destroy all the city of lack of 5? And he said, If I find there 40 and 5, I will not destroy it. And he spake unto him yet again, and said, Peradventure, there shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not do it for 40's sake. And he said unto him, Oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Peradventure, there shall 30 be found there. And he said, I will not do it if I found 30 there. And he said, Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord. Peradventure shall there be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy for 20 seconds. And he said, Oh, let not the Lord be angry. I will speak yet, but this once. Adventure, 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. And the Lord went his way, and soon as he had left communion with Abraham, and Abraham returned into his place. So as y'all can see, Abraham is like really locked in onto this principle. Like he's asking God, so if there's 50 there, would you destroy it? If there's 40 righteous, if there's 30, if there's 20, if there's 10, like he just trying to see if I guess he doesn't want any righteous people, any godly people, you know, to be harmed just because of the wicked people, right? And that can kind of intertwine with the world that we live in now, right? There's so much wicked and negativity going on, right? I mean, God doesn't want to destroy this earth yet, maybe, but just because this is just me thinking, there's righteous people on top of the wicked, you know. So there can be an apartment building, and you see, I'm in an apartment right now, you know, and I'm down here, I'm reading the Bible every single day and doing these positive, encouraging things, but the person right on top of me may be completely doing something out of, you know. So that's just me thinking about it. Nothing too deep, but yeah, we're gonna stop right there. I hope y'all enjoyed this reading today. And the big main pillars of those two verses, reading 17 and 18, it was just really God renewing his covenant with Abraham. You know, he changed Abram's name to Abraham, Sarai to Sarah. Everybody in their household that were male had to be circumcised. Abraham also had some heavenly visitors. And then it goes into God's talking about just what's the word for it? Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah's fate, right? Just basically he got to go see what's going on because he's been hearing a lot of cries, I believe. Yeah, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, right? It's a lot of stuff going on down there. So you have Abraham questioning God, you know, will you still destroy this place if it's still righteous people there? And God says no, he won't do that. So I hope y'all enjoyed this reading. I just want to take excerpts, break it down for us all, so we're not trying to read the whole thing all at once. You get it chapter by chapter, verse by verse, and you'll be able to understand it more within yourself. So if y'all got any questions, if y'all think I got something misinterpreted, just let me know in the comments. I'll appreciate it. At the end of the day, we are all God's children, and we can all help each other, you know, and get closer to him and be one with him. So I appreciate y'all. Have a great day. Continue to stay blessed, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.